Today is January 25th, 2023. My name is Rob Carr of Kalamazoo Right to Life, and this is Pro-Life Week. Well, just a little trip down memory lane just for a minute. Back in the late 1980s, a new pro-life group emerged called Operation Rescue, and they thrived until the early to mid 1990s, and very much into civil disobedience, really. Their primary method was to shut down abortion clinics by any means possible, primarily by massing in front of the abortion clinic doors and just laying down on the ground, just blocking the entrance so employees and or clients could not come in. And police would have to show up and haul sometimes hundreds of people away who were just lying on the ground. And, when they were being picked up, they would go limp and they would be put in police cars and booked for trespassing or breaking the law in some capacity. Well, this went on for several years, and the Democrats in Congress got pretty fed up with the whole thing, and Congress did intervene in the mid 1990s, and they passed, and Bill Clinton signed the FACE Act, the Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances Act. It's right there in the title, Clinic Entrances Act. You block the clinic entrance, you violated the FACE Act. Well, let's move forward now to January 25th, today, of 2023. There's a trial starting today. Well, actually, I guess technically it started yesterday when they picked a jury. But the actual hearing of testimony and cross-examinations begins today in Philadelphia. The man accused is Mark Houck, a pro-life activist who regularly prays and does sidewalk counseling outside of several Philadelphia abortion clinics. And about a year ago, he was there with his 12-year-old son, and a clinic escort came out of the building and began to harass Mark Houck's 12-year-old son, verbally, vulgar words, just very, very vulgar. And the father, Mark Houck, intervened on behalf of his son to no avail, and then out of frustration, he pushed the man down. Well, the man filed a complaint, but the judge tossed it out. There were no police report, no one was arrested, no one was fined. But a year later, the federal government stepped in and arrested him at his home with guns pulled, terrorizing his family. But he was arrested and charged with a FACE Act violation. Well, the trial begins today. It will probably end on Friday. So we'll see how it plays out. But I did read last week that his own defense attorneys said that this case is going nowhere because the clinic escort does not even fall under the jurisdiction of the FACE Act because, well, first of all, Mark Houck was not blocking the clinic entrance, which is the nuts and bolts of the FACE Act. But it also includes preventing clinic personnel from engaging in their job to provide pregnancy care for patients. Well, the escort does not fall under that category. So he doesn't even qualify for being part of the FACE Act. So I do think this case is going to be tossed out for not lack of evidence, but just because it just didn't apply. And like I said last time and previous, this is just another example of the Biden Justice Department attempting to harass pro-lifers who are doing God's work at abortion clinics, talking to pregnant moms, trying to encourage them not to kill their babies, but to rescue them from the clutches of a money-grubbing abortionist. Okay, so we'll be following this trial of Mark Houck, and perhaps we will know next week the outcome of this case. I was talking to a friend just yesterday, and we got to talking about the term reproductive health care. Well, the pro-abortion people have latched onto that term. Oh, it's better than sliced bread. Reproductive health care means abortion, no restrictions, abortion care. Abortion care is reproductive health care. Well, I got to thinking about the term reproductive, just reproductive, coming from the word reproduce, coming from the word produce, or in this case, produce again, to reproduce. Well, reproducing means having children, having babies, enlarging your family, enlarging the population of your state or your country or the world, to reproduce. And the term reproductive health care, if used correctly, is a completely legitimate term. An OBGYN who takes on as a new patient a pregnant mom now has two patients, the mother and the baby, because the goal for that doctor and for the mom is to have a safe, healthy pregnancy and a safe, healthy delivery and baby. So what does the doctor say to the mom? No smoking, no drinking, no drugs, exercise, vitamins, exercise, do all these things to make sure that you are as healthy as you can be, so that when that due date arrives, you're gonna have a safe, healthy delivery and a safe, healthy baby. That is legitimate reproductive health care. So, we shouldn't necessarily just dismiss the term, even though it's been distorted by the pro-abortion people. But it is a legitimate term that we could even embrace, because the doctor has two patients, mother and child, and it comes from the word reproduce, to produce again, to have more babies. Okay, last item. Finally, I'll say it a few more times. Finally, the Justice Department has finally arrested and indicted two individuals and has charged them with vandalism aimed at several pregnancy care centers in Florida. Caleb Freestone, 27-year-old, and Amber Smith Stewart, a 23-year-old, and she even says that she is a self-described Antifa member. So we all know about Antifa. They're basically a terrorist group, radical, in your face, liberal, intolerant. You pick your adjective. That is Antifa. Anything but tolerant, peace-loving citizens. Anything. Vandalism, violence, burning cars, throwing bricks. Well, that's what she is. Amber Smith Stewart is a member of Antifa. And these two have spray painted on several pregnancy care centers in Florida, and similar messages. Now I'm going to read here. Let's see. If abortion isn't safe, then neither are you. That's a nice message. Your time is up. Another one. We're coming for you. And we are everywhere. So, and then I think I saw a few that makes mention about Jane's Revenge. So I'm not sure if they're connected with Jane's Revenge or not. But it's, and I mean, I'll be honest with you, spray painting messages on the side of a building is vandalism. People need to be punished. They do. They need to be punished. But it's not the same thing as blowing up a building or setting the building on fire or even breaking windows. There are levels to vandalism. And the article I read said that if convicted, they could get 12 years in prison and a $350,000 fine. Well, I mean, I'll be pleased if they got 2 years, which is still a pretty serious infraction and punishment. But, you know, I would even put some of these things in, in order. The punishment should fit the crime. If you've burned in a pro-life office or a pregnancy care center, you should get the max. But spray painting, putting graffiti on the walls, that should be a lesser offense. But an offense, and nonetheless. So with that, I will let you go. Keep your news tuned to the Mark Houck trial in federal court in Philadelphia, because this is an important case. It'll determine whether or not pro-lifers can just pray and talk to moms outside of clinics, or if they're going to be muzzled by the Biden administration. With that, I'll let you go. Now, see you next time.